Okay, we're live. We are live. We're live. This is it. There's no intro today, girl. Um, Klaus is here. No intro today because I haven't made an intro for this new endeavor. But I'm here with Catherine, and we're gonna give you guys.
Hello.
Oh, my mic is not on. There we go. My mic is now on. It's a mess. So yeah, we're gonna give you a recap of Worlds because a lot happened. And yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so you tell me.
So we're going to start with who's going to the Olympics because
Yes.
that seems important.
Yes.
Um, so I'm going to start with men as people trickle in because we know men and women in this fandom.
Yes.
So the Olympic qualification teams for MAG: Japan, the United States, Great Britain, Canada, who has not been to the Olympics for a long time,
Crazy.
Germany, Italy, Switzerland, China, Spain, Turkey, Netherlands, and Ukraine.
Ukraine kind of
The
stuck in there,
people
didn't they?
they did the difference between them and Brazil was 0.2 of a point.
Wow.
Um, and South Korea, like the Brazilians, the South Koreans, were all real close to Ukraine. I think Brazil missing it is like my big men's team thing
Yeah. Yeah. Was it
because
sad? Like, and it was pommel horse, wasn't it?
I believe it was. I'm trying to remember back then. But
Yeah.
pommel horse is that everyone's downfall, and I think not falling off pommel horse for once in their lives is what got the Canadians to the Olympics.
Yeah. And then like the rest of the competition was just like not great for them.
Well, yeah, the rest of the competition, they're like, yes, we now remember we fall off pommel horse.
Yes, of course. Of course.
So the individual men, let me scroll down to find my list. So in the all around, Malad Karimi of Kazakhstan, Artem
Yes.
Dokopiet of Israel, Artur Davtyan of Armenia, Lee Jong-ho of Korea, Diego Suarez of Brazil, Luca van der Kebis of Belgium, who apparently the gays have fallen in love with,
They love him.
and Andrei Montanin of Romania. So those are the all-arounders.
Mm-hmm.
And for the event specialists, Carlos Yulo got in on floor of the Philippines. Rhys McClanahan of Ireland, you might have heard of him, world champion.
Local
Um,
talent. Local talent.
uh, you also might have heard of Petronius of Greece, who
Mm-hmm.
got on rings. Kevin Penev is the surprise Olympic qualifier on vault.
Yeah. How'd that happen?
He was the last qualifier into the vault final, and the first reserve was also someone who could have gone to the Olympics.
So it came out of him
It
performing well,
it came
essentially.
Yeah, it came down to him. And him being out of the pool for trying to get another spot makes things better for his brother.
Yeah, because they're essentially
Um,
the same gymnast.
right. So uh, as people were talking about who could potentially get one of the World Cup spots, people are talking about Eddie on floor.
Yeah, and I mean that makes sense, honestly. Especially without
Uh,
Carlos Yulo there, it's gonna be like he's gonna breeze into that one.
Noah Kuveda of Belgium is the third one, and on pommel horse, and so he's the third Belgium. So Belgium can't qualify any more men.
Mm-hmm. Will you
And
please
Tin
quickly explain that to people? Because I don't think people understand like why like once your quota is up, they can't add more people.
Okay, let me just finish this one.
Yeah,
Tin Serbic of Croatia is on high bar.
yeah,
So the way it works is you qualify a team and you get 5 people to the Olympics, and they can do whatever a team does. But if you do not qualify a team as a country, you can only send 3 gymnasts. So what happened with Belgium here is they qualified. Belgium was, oh god, where were they in the? So Belgium was, that's women. Sorry,
That's women.
I'm looking at 3 different pages. Okay, so Belgium came in 15th as a team. So they got 1 spot that their country can decide to send, because countries that finished 13 through 15 get 1 spot that they can decide for themselves. And that's Brazil, South Korea, and Belgium. That's 1 person. They're like to be named later. Then they got the guy who qualified in the all around, and then they got an event specialist. And because you could only have 3, they're out.
They're done.
Yeah. They're the only MAG team that it didn't qualify a team who is done at the moment. Everyone else can still qualify some people.
So should we go a rundown of the event finals for the men since we're here now?
Sure.
Okay. So I just want to give a huge shout out to begin with. Koi Young.
He's really a big surprise.
Exceptional in qualifications. Fell during the team final, but I mean, par for the course.
He is a really interesting piece for that team for Paris.
Because essentially that knocks out Steven Nedoroshic.
Well, yeah, there's no way you send Steven on a team anywhere anymore, because Koi Young is just better.
And he gives you an all-around program.
Yeah. Or even if you're not going to use him as an all-rounder, you have more versatility with him than you have with Steven.
And he is now world medalist.
He is now a double world medalist. So
how does that impact his funding?
So I don't know the MAG funding. If he was a WAG, it would put him at the 2nd to highest tier.
Because he doesn't have an Olympic medal yet.
He doesn't have an Olympic medal, and you can get to the highest tier in WAG with world medals alone, but it has to be 2 from the last 2 years.
Right.
So he would have had to. So like Lian Wang is in the highest funding tier because she got a medal this year and she got a medal last year.
Okay.
But even though she doesn't have an Olympic medal.
Okay, but she's an Olympic alternate.
Yeah, but it's the 2 world medals get her the money.
Okay.
So Fred was great. The only the 4th USA man to get a world all-around medal. The first African American man. We kind of wish he was in the high bar final, but high bar was not his friend this Worlds. Yeah. But
Fred Richard medaled in the all-around.
Yeah.
Koi Young medaled on pommel and
pommel horse. I'm sort of going through them in Olympic order in my head.
Oh,
so Fred was in the floor final. So I really like where Fred is going, and he has so much room to improve. And I think
he just needed a little bit more time. I mean, the skills are there.
He's still cooking.
He's still cooking. Yeah.
He's still cooking. And he's so much cleaner than he was last year.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Michigan is doing a really good job of cleaning up his gymnastics.
Why are my lights so much brighter right now?
I don't know.
Did you see that? It's much brighter now.
But other than the Americans, in the floor final, the Olympic champion, world champion Artem Dokopiat, who won that medal when things are going crazy for him at home, which is something to say.
Yeah.
Minamani Kazuki of Japan got silver. Milad Karimi, everyone's favorite, looks like he's 12.
Looks just like my friend Oscar in real life. Not Oscar, the one that's joined us, but Oscar, my friend Oscar. He looks just like, it's so weird every time I see Milad Karimi, but shout out to him. I mean, What happened in the high bar final? I mean, I watched after the fact, but I feel like he had a better routine than Tin Cervic.
I think it's just a difficulty.
Oh, okay. Good evening,
Well, when
V1
we get
Galen.
to that, I'll look at the D
Yeah.
scores and tell you. But so those were the three medalists. Um, Fred, Fred had a really great floor going, and then he face planted.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was going on there. Maybe he was just tired.
And this is a really long competition. They've been there for weeks now.
Yeah. So
So,
that was floor. Let's see. Pommel horse was exciting because like there were 10 million people there looking for an Olympic spot.
yeah.
Reese McClenaghan repeated as world champion. Koi Young is our surprise silver medalist. And Abu Al Sood repeats a second year as for a world's medal from Jordan, which is a big deal.
That's crazy. And he's
I,
great on
I
pommel horse.
he when he hits, he is stunning to watch. Unfortunately, he's a little like hit or miss.
Chaotic.
Um,
Who of the three was your favorite?
I I think I like Al Sood.
Yeah.
He's just so satisfying to watch.
He has a variety unlike well, unlike the latter two. Like Reese gets it just on pure difficulty, but
Yeah,
Reese doesn't have that natural beautiful swing. Coy's is more restricted, I've noticed.
like
Like
there's something very natural about Osud though.
yeah, he just has a natural. It's like on bars we say natural swingers, but like on pommel, that's a natural swing.
Um, I was shocked at Max Whitlock falling.
Oh my gosh, no, yeah, that I mean, Daddy fell, Daddy fell. You know what I mean? It's one of those like Daddy fell, and there's nothing. Sometimes that
Yeah.
happens. It's pommel. Pommel's gonna pommel.
Uh, we're gonna talk about the British later, but like,
Oh, the
uh,
British.
Lee Shikai also fell, and I think he was just tired because he had also done the Asian Games where he had won gold.
Yeah, shout out to him, and shout out to
So,
Li Shapan.
uh, the people who did both of those are crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
couldn't be me. Well, it
so
was us. It was us. We did do that. We did both of them.
we did, but we weren't actually
Competing.
competing in them.
Yeah, true. True.
Um, Lu Yang of China won rings gold. Petronius behind him. There's a really great interview of the two of them talking about competing together and being rivals and making friends through that rivalry. That's really cute if you can find it on YouTube. Um,
Gymnastic, I'm guessing?
I think so.
Okay. Let me see. Let me look for it.
Yu Hao got bronze. So we had China, Greece, China. And this is how Petronius gets to the Olympics.
And we love that.
But the rest of the people in this pommel final are going to be fighting in those World Cups, and in this rings final are going to be fighting in those World Cups. So the pommel and the rings, I think, are going to be the most interesting events in the World Cups in 2024, including the WAGs. Like those two mag events are going to be the like races to watch. If you could be excited about watching rings, and I know lots of people aren't.
I mean,
Um,
I love it. I love watching rings, but just like after a while, I'm just like, oh, rings
I
again?
love watching specialists do rings.
Yes.
I do not love watching all-arounders do rings.
Well, and you made that clear. Like it looks like you made them do rings, and they're not good at rings.
Yeah, like James Hall turns into like 3 shades of purple potato.
Not 30 Shades of British.
I love him, but he's not a rings boy.
He's not.
Um,
He's not.
Speaking of the British, Jake Jarman won the vault gold, and that was the only medal the GB took home. And we'll talk about GB later, but that's something to say.
Hmm.
Koi Young is our surprise second. Tripurni is third.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Stop there. Stop there.
yeah,
I have umbrage. I have umbrage
with
about that.
Tripurni. Are we
Yes.
going to talk about the hand down? So
Yes.
he doesn't show support is the thing.
Okay.
You have like you can touch the mat in an incidental graze as long as you aren't supporting yourself. And when we talk about the WAG vault final, I'll talk about Colleen
Yeah,
and
V1
why
Jalen
that's
has a
different.
point. She says rings may be boring to some because they can never fall except for the dismount. Now we have seen falls on rings. Falls on rings happen.
They're just
They're,
rare.
they're rare and they're not fun because it's usually a shoulder thing.
Yeah,
Usually.
it's if there's a fall in a ring, it's injury. So when we get to WAG, I'll talk about why Colleen's was a fall and his is not. But
Okay.
he doesn't show support. He just touches the mat, and that's a deduction, and
Yeah.
he got a deduction for it. But it wasn't uh, it wasn't a fall.
Okay.
Paul Judah was wonderful. He just didn't have the E.
Yeah, it
Um,
was. I mean, it was a great routine. It just wasn't well performed.
so Davtian, what I'm hearing from people is that he blocked too far forward on the horse.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
You would know better than me what mechanics of that meant, though. So could you explain it?
So yeah. So if you visualize the tongue, okay, we visualize the table and tongue. To get the optimal like spring off that thing, you have to hit like right where it's curving, like in maybe a little bit higher than that, just to then for it to like ricochet you off and you're able to do your vault essentially, right? What he did was his hands were right where it bends, as opposed to right on top, and so what he did was go straight up as opposed to straight up and out.
And so that's why he's lands so close to the table that he almost
Yeah,
headbutts it.
yeah, and I mean
And the fact that he
he's
was able to dodge under the table is pretty amazing.
he's a gorgeous vaulter,
Like
and
the fact that he did not medal here is the biggest shock of the worlds to me.
yeah, because I mean, everybody went into being when it goes into that final being like, okay, Dovtan is going to for sure like at least medal.
Yeah,
And
so that was the biggest shock to me.
this is the worlds of upsets.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. What was not an upset was parallel bars. Lucas Dowser won by a lot because
and we've
he
been
has
wanting
a
that
lot.
one for a while.
He had an 8.8 E score
And on
with the highest D.
parallel bars, that is like insane.
I mean, it's only you know only the Olympic champion can do better than that, and Dowser is the Olympic silver medalist, so that makes sense.
And he did the performance of a lifetime. Truly,
It's a stunning performance, and if you after he finishes, he apparently hugged everyone he could find,
I
if
would
you knew
too.
them or not.
I would have too. Hi, Klaus. What's wrong, Kathy? I think Klaus is a little sick.
Shikan got silver, and we'll talk about the controversies. We'll talk about why he's here and didn't do the team final, because there's a thing there, but like
But it's
there's a
not a
lot of
thing.
misinformation there.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think it's Tim Daggett.
yeah, so we'll talk about that in a controversy section.
Okay.
Sajimoto of Japan got the bronze. Um,
That I agree with that.
so Yule fell onto the bars. That's what happened to him.
Yeah.
He had a fall onto the apparatus, or I mean, I guess that's what they call it in P bars.
Yeah,
But
it's a fall. It's a fall.
and Asher just didn't have the D to compete.
Yeah.
Um,
Great dismount though.
yeah, I mean, the U.S. men had a really great Worlds.
They did.
Hashimoto Daiki won high bar by a lot because he's Hashimoto Daiki and it's high bar.
Yeah. Oh, if you're just joining us now, we're doing a recap of Worlds. Hi, I'm Adex. I'm joined by Catherine. This is the first of, I guess, many Adex at Nights. This is Adex Night Live. It's not going to be Adex at Night. I kind of have an update on that. I'll tell you guys here in a minute. But we're doing Worlds recap, and now we're heading to High Bar. Well, we've been in High Bar.
Yeah,
So Hashimoto Daiki.
Tin Serbic got silver and a trip to the Olympics from that,
Yeah.
which it's Serbic on high bar. And given how he had to completely rechange how he did high bar after they changed the Tkachev rules, I'm always here for Serbic getting things.
And because he's a good pirouetter.
Yeah.
I love a good pirouette.
Uh,
I
Suway,
agree.
What?
I agree. Sunway. I mean, getting bronze. I agree with that podium.
So it looks like the difference between Surbik and Karimi was E-score.
And Karimi's was noticeably a lot more chaotic. Hey, Doof.
Yeah, yeah. Karimi has a much lower E-score than Surbik had.
Yeah, yeah. And
Almost 5 points.
what?
Oh, sorry, almost 5/10.
Oh, it was like what? They
No,
hammered
no,
him.
5 points would be
Okay.
wrong. Almost 5/10,
Okay.
but
Cool.
that's still a lot.
Yeah, still a
And
lot.
and that was like the difference between their E-scores is the difference between their medals. Ward medal and Karimi's fourth.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
Hashimoto Daiki goes into the Olympics as the world all-around champion and world high bar champion.
and Olympic
And
champion and high bar
definitely,
champion. Like
I do have a
that.
question.
Yeah.
And I'm just testing you because I feel like you would have done this already. Where would Brody Malone have figured into this final?
So I did not do that already, but I can look it up if you talk for a little bit.
Yes, because I mean, transparency is key, right? Well, this all this new arrangement all came down to Brody Malone, and here we go. So yeah, no, I want to know because the fallout that happened was because my co-host said that Brody Malone added nothing to his team, and I just want to know like where he would have placed just to see.
No, the idea that Brody Malone would have added nothing to the team is kind of absurd. But
And the thing,
let's.
why is the mentality not like imagine how much more we could have scored with Brody Malone on
I
the
think.
team?
I mean, I don't like Brody Malone. I don't think
No,
lots of people in the internet like him, but he's still a good gymnast. So let's see. Last year, he won his high bar championship with a 14.8, and that would have given him silver.
so not bad.
Yeah. So I'm like he is, and the U.S. is weak on high bar. They are
Yeah.
weak on high bar. You have to keep remembering that.
Imagine the high bar like lineup of Malone, Richard,
Fred,
and yeah, Malone, Richard, and
you
Judah,
still have to
or
come. Yeah, I mean, you still have to figure out who's gonna leave the team, but like
oh, leave the team. Oh well, I put Judah into alternate and remove Cold Walker. Period.
I
Done.
could see that. But like the thing about Malone is that even if he's not doing all around, he gives them value on things they are weak on.
Yeah,
That's the value he brings to the team.
and he gives you an all-around program. So that's three all-arounders.
Yeah, he might not have an all-around program by the Olympics though. So,
True, true. Yeah,
uh,
I wouldn't think. Why is
but
your
you
PP
can't
out?
count on Asher on high bar.
Yeah,
And
that's
as much
chaotic.
as I love Fred, he's chaotic on high bar.
Yeah, that's it's like it's like putting up three Jonathan Hortons,
Yeah,
and we all know how chaotic that was.
yeah. So I mean that's the thing is I think you like I'm a gay woman. I'm not gonna like Brody Malone. I
Yeah,
don't like him as a person. I don't like his personality. I don't like anything about him. But he is a good gymnast,
yeah. I
and
mean, we're not going to talk about like
ignore him.
how spicy he thinks water is. That's not the issue here. The issue here is like to say that he doesn't bring anything to the team. It's kind of like not realizing. Oh, he brings almost what 5 points.
Well, this is like not liking the things that Nina says, and
Yeah,
then saying that
true.
Nina is the bad gymnast.
Yeah, and she's not. She's not. You may not
She
like.
says some really terrible things,
She says some very dumb and terrible and victim shamey things, but at the end of the day, like
but she's still a good gymnast.
good
Anyway, so
gymnast.
that
Yeah.
so let's go back to the like we can't go through the entire all around, but maybe let's just go through the medalists.
To the medalist, yes.
Um, so as I switch between different screens, so
If you're just joining us
Hashimoto
now, we're doing.
Daiki,
Go ahead. Yeah, we're doing a world recap. So just hop in when you can.
Hashimoto Daiki, you know, Olympic champion, world champion, great gymnast. It is worth noting that if Zhang Boeing had been here, he would have won based on the Asian Games total.
Yeah.
And they are equivalent meets in FIG rating, so there's no reason to think that his scores aren't valid from Asian Games. So
That's
that's going to be
crazy.
like a really great showdown in Paris.
No, it's going to be the ultimate showdown because I mean, who? I
I
don't
don't think
see
anyone's
anybody.
challenging either of them.
They're not. And if they think they are, they're foolish. Like, I don't. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
So Ilya Kovtun got silver, which we're all happy for. Our like giant of a man gymnast.
He is. He's in war torn country, training in Croatia, like
Yeah.
having to be, having to deal with all that and still come out with a silver medal in the all around, in the world's all around, going into the Olympics. Come on, Ilya Kovtun, goated.
And Fred Richard, who is a singular. Richard, not
One Richard.
Richards.
One Richard. He's one Richard. Or 5'10" gymnast, right? Fred Richard, and the thing that I loved most about his win was the fact that he felt like he didn't deserve it.
Yeah, and I really love that other people who were not from the U.S. told him he did immediately.
Because
That showed a lot of sportsmanship. So
everyone fell.
he is the fourth person from the U.S. to win an all-around medal.
Ever?
Kurt Thomas, yeah, in mag ever. Kurt Thomas in 1979. Paul Hamm in 2003. Whenever Horton did it, and Fred.
Whenever Horton did it. What was that?
I remember when Horton did it.
2007?
I don't think so, because
was it after Beijing?
It was after Beijing, because the U.S. men didn't win anything in 2007.
2010?
So yeah, that's a whole story. Anyway.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Yeah.
But so there's that. So let's go through generally how teams went, because
yes,
I don't want to go through the team final, but like how their teams went.
Yeah.
So in terms of Japan, how do you think their team went?
Japan is an incredible team because their depth is unparalleled. I mean, there's not one other program in this entire world, other than maybe the Chinese program, that has as many active elite level male gymnasts that could be put in at any one time. You know what I mean? You go into the training camps, and literally any one of them can put up the same score as the last one.
On the World Cups, you'll see these Japanese men that you have never seen before, and they're amazing, and then you'll never see them again because they only get sent to World Cups.
Not once. Jonathan was 2010 world's bronze medalist. There you go, 2010.
Thank you.
So it's been 13 years. 13 years.
And only 4 in history, so that's, that's a good club to be in.
Junior gymnast. That's a whole junior gymnast.
Yes.
I mean,
we already talked a lot about the U.S., but they won a team medal for the first time in a while.
And I don't want to say they lucked into that, because that was pure grit and just sticky feet, if they could.
But they did it by not messing up, which is something that they have done.
Even though they did mess up, Koi fell on Pommel.
The U.S. men have in recent years been good at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, it's like success has followed them around all their lives, and they've been too fast.
Yes,
it's been too fast. You know what I mean?
So, yes.
I mean, it's such a great testament to. I mean, look, Brett McClure's plan is working.
Yeah, or it's also a new generation, like Fred and Koi. Like the oldest person on this team was Yule, which is a weird thing to think about.
Because he used to be the young one.
Yeah.
He used to be the kid.
This is not just the U.S., but the average age of the mag podium in the all around was 3 years younger than the average age of the WAG podium.
And when has that happened?
Never.
Never.
I literally think never.
Well, I love to see it. Love to see it.
Uh, so we'll talk about the British women separately, but let's talk about what happened with the British men. This is like they've got people missing for injuries, right?
This was their Pearl Harbor. I feel like
Well, Joe is missing for
Joe
recovery.
Frazier,
Gianni,
Johnny, uh, Gianni. I don't remember his last name. I know it's Johnny Morani, something like that.
Moran.
Johnny Moran.
So I think they knew they were coming in here, probably not
Depleted.
going to, because they had qualified for the Olympics last year.
Yeah, and they brought Harry Hepworth, who was a revelation.
He's really great, and he goes to a lot of World Cups, and he's really fun to watch at World Cups too.
Yeah.
Um,
They're also missing. Who are they? Oh, they're missing. What's his face? No, he retired. No, that's it.
but I mean, I think everyone expected Max Whitlock to medal on pommel horse, so the fall was
They
something.
expected him to clear. They were like, Max Willis going to come here and clear house. No, honey. No, no, no,
Well,
ma'am. That did not
and
happen.
he had come, he'd been given an astronomical pommel horse score at the Paris World Challenge Cup like
Yeah.
2 weeks before. So
And
like it wasn't arrogant of them to expect him to clear.
but also, I mean, it's gymnastics, and one should always be cautious when we
And
go
it's
into
pommel
this.
horse.
And that's pommel horse. And pommel horse, that horse will throw you off immediately. Immediately.
So I think there's more to be said about the British women, but I think that's a different subject than the men. So the men came in here with not their top team.
By any means
That's what
necessary.
happened to them.
By any means. And the thing is, well, we'll get to the women. We'll get to the women. We'll get to the women.
Yeah, we'll get to the women because I think that's a different subject.
Yeah, that is.
Canada, like I said, they didn't fall off pommel horse. That gets them to the Olympics. They're a beautiful team on
Renee
everything
Cornier, a revelation. Of course, we love Willem and Maud. We love Felix Dolce. Felix Dolce
Yeah.
had a championships.
And
Influencer.
he didn't get on pommel horse, and that's why.
That's why, because he's not a pommel horse worker. Speaking of really quickly, I just want to bring it up one last time because I think it's hilarious. This WGA Cash Cup, which many of these men participated in, y'all, I went back and watched it again. I don't understand. I don't understand. It has the most arbitrary list of rules.
Yeah.
Like, how is
mean,
someone getting 18.4 star value?
It's advertising itself as less confusing than and less formal than and with fewer rules. But like,
I don't even know
the
what that
rules exist for a
was.
reason.
18.4 for a start value? Get out of town. Get out of town. No one's doing that. You know what I mean? 18 point, yes, V1 Jalen. They give someone an 18.4 start value, and they don't separate their like they give you their difficulty value is like the full score, what they would get. It's just it's nonsense. And I mean, I'm here for it because, like, you know, I love new formats. I love men's gymnastics finding a niche. I love that. But honey, you're gonna have to give me more.
Yeah, I mean, that format, we'll see how it lasts.
We'll see. I mean, I love a cash cup.
The Germans had a sort of were in the middle of the pack. They did their job. Dowser came here to do what he was going to do. The Italians were kind of anonymous to me. This whole
they weren't memorable. They weren't memorable.
The Swiss were more memorable, which is interesting.
Memorable. That's the word, Catherine. Memorable, not rememberable. Rememberable.
Yes. China, we'll talk about in the controversy section, but so Spain, Turkey, Netherlands, Ukraine. So those were the teams. I don't think I have anything else in MAG to talk about.
Hashimoto Daiki, we agree the Italian MAG were like ghosts. The Italian WAG was all over the place. Listen, we'll get to that. I mean, Hashimoto Daiki.
Why don't we deal with the controversies for MAG now, and then we can
let's do that. Let's do that.
So let's start with the Japanese Galliavad, and
Yes.
they say they talked to everybody beforehand and agreed to the Galliva before they started. And the logic is that just because they want to use you on all 6 pieces in qualifications doesn't mean that they intend to use you in the all around.
Right.
Um, I I don't have a problem with this as long as the athletes had an understanding beforehand.
And as long as Dr. Kazumakaya is, okay.
And I'm sure he's fine with it.
Yeah, because I mean that's a long
Like,
competition.
it's a long competition. He's friends with Daiki. He knows who Daiki's
Yeah.
potential is. And this is like this idea of fairness is cultural, and how you
Yeah.
define it is cultural. And if you are outraged by this, it might just be because you come from a place where this is cultural. And this would never happen in the US.
No,
I I
absolutely not.
have I have doubts that it would even be legal to do it in the US because there's a law that sometime I may talk about. But
Wait, there's a law?
um it's a little complicated. Yes, there's a law that it might make it so that it would have been illegal to do it if you were the US. But anyway, um but you can't impose your own views on 10 million other things.
Well,
So,
it's just like the same thing how people were like, I was watching Gymcastic, their live show after the second day of event finals. They were like, "Can you explain to me why people keep saying that the Chinese um, saw Asian games as having precedence to worlds? Like, is it a big competition?" I'm like, "Girl, it's a huge competition."
it Asian Games is bigger than the Olympics by number of athletes, sports. It is it is in you have to remember it's 30 years old. It is when Asians wanted to show that they were as good as everybody else in all of these sports. It is about Asian pride. It is not just big in China, it is big in all of Asia. And this is just a world championships in a niche sport.
Yeah.
I
Whereas
mean,
Asian Games, Pan American Games coming up, those are
Pan American
multi-sport.
Games are huge in Latin America, and when we cover Pan American Games, we're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah. And I don't think people, I mean, like you said earlier, it's people imposing their own ideals and, like, I guess, biases towards something they really don't understand or can comprehend.
And almost certainly, the guys who medaled at the Asian Games are going to get paid more by the Chinese government than the guys who medaled at Worlds.
Which, I mean, we found out today that the grand total for Simone Biles is $17,400.
It's nice.
But not Asian Games money.
No, it's not even Swiss Cup money, but that's a whole other thing.
So then why
Um,
go to Worlds?
you go to Worlds to be the world champion, but I'm just pointing out that like
Yeah, I mean, but
you,
like, like, where's the money, sis? Eh,
you go to Worlds to be the world champion. You don't go to
yeah,
Worlds for the money.
fair.
Um, but so let's talk about the Chinese team, and I'm going to explain some rules here.
Yes, walk us through what Tim Daggett called the biggest witch. I'm not. That's the wrong person. He called the biggest travesty in sport.
Okay, so let's start with how this works in the Olympics and how lots of people understand it. So in the Olympics, you cannot substitute any gymnast after qualifications. Like when qualifications happens, the alternates turn into pumpkins. They were never Olympians. The IOC doesn't acknowledge them. They are just like ghosts.
They're Michaela Skinner. They're Regan Smith. They are Ashton Locklear. They are Brenadell.
That is not the case for Worlds.
Nope.
So the when the team size was reduced after Beijing, FIG did not want to reduce the team size at their World Championships, but they kind of have to match for qualifications for Olympics. The team sizes kind of have to match. So their solution was to create a format where the replacement athlete is still part of the team. So you can enter your replacement athlete at any time before the team final. So the U.S. Could not substitute DiCello for Roberson because Roberson was injured in warmups as the team final had started. So, but there was a lower leg injury on the Chinese team during qualifications. He had to scratch the rest of the events in qualifications. He was their best all-arounder, so it was not strategic. They would have had more points if he had stayed on their team. They flew in their replacement athlete who had just competed in the Asian Games. What the rules? Yeah, so what the rules say is you can withdraw from the team final and to be replaced by the replacement athlete. But if you want to compete in your later events, you have to be cleared by the event medical staff, not your team medical staff. So someone who was not Chinese had to clear him to do P-bars. But remember, his injury was a lower leg injury.
Mm-hmm.
So he was cleared to do P-bars because P-bars is not a leg event.
Yeah, it's not a leg event, yeah.
So this is all in the rules. It's been that way since 2010. It's
new.
why all of those Americans have world medals as alternates.
Reagan
This
Smith,
is not
Michaela Skinner.
Yeah, this is not a loophole. This is what they intended you to be able to do, and it's not cheating because it's an option everyone has.
Yeah.
But it was certainly not strategic because they would have preferred to have him.
Yeah. And the thing is,
so anyway, that.
Yeah, Tim Daggett had a cow about it.
Tim's a funny guy in that he knows gymnastics really well, but he's not very good at keeping up with rules, and he really wants rules to be the same as they were when he competed.
And that's just not a thing, Timothea.
But this has been that way for 14 years.
Yeah, it's been that way for a while. And so I mean, I'm not. I didn't really see the problem.
It's not happened before, but it sort of happened with the Italian women in 2015. But
yeah.
The thing is, it doesn't happen often because it requires injuries.
And that's the last thing we want.
That's the last thing anyone wants. Like I said, the Chinese were not looking to play bait and switch here.
No, it's worked out how it worked out.
I think Tim should have told his audience that his withdrawal hurt them.
And he did say, to just to be fair here, to be devil's advocate, Tim did say that it's not against the rules, it's not illegal to do that, but it goes against the spirit of the sport.
Which is bullshit because they would not write. There are paragraphs and paragraphs about how you re-enter individual finals. This is not a loophole.
No.
Or an accident. Or something that people overlooked. They wrote the rules this way for a reason.
Yeah.
And because think about that. He had an injury in qualification, and a week later, he could do some gymnastics. Do we want to force him to do the team final?
No.
And I had this discussion today. Someone said every gymnast is always hurt. I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's not force them to do things.
Yeah, let's be mindful and be athlete first, if anything.
So anyway, those are the controversies in men. Since we talked about Cipriani and his vault.
Yeah, so Cipriani, just really quick, just a quick one. Listen. I think because Radvilov did two amazing vaults, and
but he's always kind of chaotic.
Yeah, the double pike was a little chaotic, and he does step out of the corridor, but Cipriani didn't have the landings that I feel like Radvilov had. Am I crazy for that?
I could see it. I mean, the problem is mag vault scoring has always been kind of loose on landings.
Yeah, they need to figure that out,
Um,
and that won't happen until
so
next code. So, I
yeah.
mean, probably gonna lose the
Uh,
game.
and I don't think I've seen any discussion of the mag code. Um, so let's switch to women.
Now the women, yes, divas, yes, XX chromosomes, yes,
So we'll talk about Olympics first.
yes.
So going to the Olympics are the United States, Great Britain, China, Brazil, Italy, Netherlands, France, Japan, Australia for the first time in a long time, Romania for the first time in a long time, as the same amount of time as the Australians, South Korea in I think the first time in since 1992, or it might have been 1988. It's been a long time for South Korea
And Canada, I
and
forgot Canada.
Canada. So the
So
Canadians would have qualified if they had to qualify this year, so they were saved that embarrassment. Non-nominative spots went to Germany, Mexico, and Hungary.
yes, and there's a whole thing with that. Kingston, Michaela's no longer a part of this show. I hate saying that, but I mean,
So, in terms of individuals, Kayla Newmar of Algeria, Pauline Schaefer-Betts of Germany, Alexa Moreno of Mexico, Felipa Martins of Portugal, Aaliyah Finnegan of the Philippines. Let's see some all those
we love that.
um, Lilia Sifrita of Hungary. I
Hmm.
think that's how you say her name. Alba Potisco of Spain, Anna Lashevska of Ukraine, who is a second year senior, I believe, um, or she might be a first year senior, but she's was training in Germany for a long time. She competed at German junior nationals last year.
Oh, cool.
Um, so you see a lot of Ukrainians in German domestic meets because a lot of Ukrainian wags in German domestic meets. Um, Lena Binkel, I think, of Switzerland. Hillary Haran of Panama. She got to do the all around, even though she didn't qualify in the all around because I think people just didn't want to deal with how weird that was.
Yeah.
Um, my one complaint is that they didn't tell them until hours later. So the other Panamanian who walked off the floor probably thought she would qualified for the Olympics and didn't. So that's my one complaint there. Um, Carla Nieves, I think, is who that was.
It was.
Caitlin Rosencrans of South Africa.
She qualified.
Yep. Sona Artemonova of Czechia.
Yeah.
Lihi Ras of Israel. Lucia Hybar of Slovenia. And Rifta, and I'm not going to say her last name because I'm going to butcher it,
But
of
we saw her
Indonesia.
at Asian Championships as well, or at Asian Games as well,
And
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and her qualifying here is really good for anybody else from the Philippines who wants to try.
Yeah.
Um, because she was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Um, and the individual qualifiers were Senga Bakse of Hungary, and we'll talk about that in controversies. And
Yes.
Azari Sandoval of Mexico, Ana Perez of Spain, Sarah Voss of Germany.
Let's
That
go.
caps Germany, Mexico, and Hungary.
Yeah.
They can't get any more spots. Their feds can decide those spots by a juggling contest if they want to.
Because they're
Um,
non-nominative, right?
yeah, the
Yeah.
feds can decide those any way they want. Germany is going to be a fight. Mexico, I think, is going to go to Escalera. Hungary, it will go to Kovacs if she can do any gymnastics.
Hmm.
But given the timing of her ACL, I think it's very doubtful that she'll be prepared in time for Paris, and I think it'll go to Zara Sekai,
Well, I
who would
mean,
be the next obvious person. But the problem is that like Kovacs's ACL happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And that was, I mean, that's further ahead than Mustafina's did at one time,
Yeah, so Mustafina had hers in like April
April,
of 2011.
and
That's
by
like 6 months.
that's 6 months.
Like I don't see like Sofia Kovacs is one of my favorite gymnasts right
You
now.
love her. You love her.
I I just can't see her getting to the Olympics, and that might be why the Hungarians are not that pressed about what happened. Is
Yeah.
because they, I mean, that's like
It's how the cookie
Zoya is
crumbles.
the obvious next person after that, and
Yeah.
they're going to know that Kovacs's recovery time is doubtful anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, injuries happen, and we love Sofia Kovacs. Shout out to you, girl. But like, it's one of those things. Like,
An ACL does not
no,
heal in 10 months.
an Achilles, perhaps,
Like, and Ellie
perhaps.
Seitz's Achilles had like a month more than Kovacs's ACL.
Yeah, and I mean,
So, I mean,
when did the Loyans go? That was like 3 months before the Olympics, right?
yeah, but at some point, not today, we should talk about how I think that was a red flag.
Yeah, we should, because now my interest is peaked.
Let's just say injury recovery doping is a thing, and a
Mm,
miracle recovery of an injury that should not have recovered that fast should have been something that people raised an eyebrow at, not cheered.
yeah, no, you're right, because it was that man should not have been competing on that angle.
Right. So,
But
like,
moving on,
yeah.
moving
So
on.
anyway, so that like I do not think people should take his Achilles as a model
Inspirational.
because it might not be real.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so let's go to the all around first, or the all around. We'll do the all around the event finals, and then come circle back to the teams.
yes, and then we can wax poetic about different gymnasts.
Right. So local talent, Simone Biles. You might have heard of her.
Local talent, she's barely starting in the top. Someone found her in a playground. You know what I mean? Found her swinging bars, and they were like, "You look like a gymnast," and now she's world champion. We love that for her.
Um, the same city she was in before.
Hmm. Same cities 10 years ago. Really full circle moment.
So she was really great. Let's just say that.
I mean, did you see a video of him on Rebecca? Yes, I want to know what she was telling Rebecca.
She was asking Rebecca about the people who come to travel to their fans. Like she was asking Rebecca and Flavia about the Brazilians who travel for gymnastics,
Yeah,
which makes me wonder if like Simone has just never had the chance to talk to the Brazilians before
yeah.
because she was like making new friends with them, which is cool.
I want to know
Like
what they
in
were saying
Tokyo,
in the
yeah.
banquet, like at the
Oh,
banquet.
who knows?
But I mean, did you see Melanie in the back just losing her shit?
You know,
That is me. I am the one screaming the lyrics. Melanie was turned up. And then Colleen Deviliot in her combat boots. Oh, please. A girl after my own heart. Please. Please. I love that.
so Rebecca Andrade, also you might have heard of her,
Yeah.
who
Briefly.
turned, turned senior in like 2015 or 16 and didn't win her first world or Olympic medal until 2021 and now keeps winning them.
I mean, and she's just gonna keep winning them. I mean, okay, hold
And
on. I just want to talk about just because I love the discourse online. Very xenophobic. I hate that. But I just want to talk. Like, had Reby landed her double layout, she would have beat someone on the floor.
I, so my position is that Andrade loves her knees more than she wants the medals, and that's good for
Agreed.
her because she wants to walk.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. I
Um,
do think. I
so I
mean,
think she could
gorgeous.
upgrade, but I think she's not upgrading some things because she's been through 3 knee operations.
Definitely not leaps. But I mean, a double double, it's not out of the wheelhouse. I don't think for her.
I mean, and maybe for Paris because an Olympic medal is a big thing, but uh, I think her priority is getting to Paris. So we might not have seen the biggest Andrade can do, but again, I think we may never see the biggest she can do because
The
she likes her
knees.
knees.
Yeah. Did you guys see them dance? Yes, yes. We were just talking about that. Maybe she did the Mustafina. Um, that turn is a little chaotic for me. I mean, she does it very well, very well. But as someone who has struggled with knees, I mean that. Listen, any turn with your leg up like that, if it's not going correctly and you don't have the right muscles sewn in, that could blow an ACL.
So like I just want to put like the idea that Rebecca values her knees in here and maybe values them more than medals
Yeah, and
as a thought.
I agree with that. I feel like they're going to be besties. I mean, I think they already are. It happened in rhythmic gymnastics. See, like those turns are hard, and you're not doing them on like wood floor like a dancer does. You're doing them
And
on
you're
like
not doing them like rhythmic in shoes.
exactly.
Um, I heard a dancer once describe trying to do turns on a gym floor as like trying to do turns in like syrup.
Yeah, yeah. Because that floor, like, it's carpet. It's I mean
So,
it's kind of slippery carpet, but I mean still, yeah. No, to do turns like that, hell, even a wolf turn, your ankle, I mean your foot could get stuck in the carpet, and then ACL by
but like let's celebrate like Andrade now has a medal on every apparatus,
every apparatus, including
and
gold on vault
gold on vault over Simone Biles.
over some
Even
above.
even with Simone's fall, that's gonna be something that's gonna be the top of Rebecca's. Like, not many people have beaten Simone on things.
No,
Charlize Jones got third. She did not get the triple L named. No one did
okay,
because again,
I want to talk about that really quick.
sure.
So on when was it? Thursday night? No, Friday. No, when did they end? Saturday night, I did a TikTok live, okay,
Hmm.
in which I did tumble a tarot, right? Where I did a card pull for like each gymnast or whatever, and I kind of predicted that the Charlize was going to fall on her dismount. That's exactly what I said on my TikTok live.
Well, maybe.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm psychic. I'm not saying anything like that. I don't have a turban yet, so I don't know.
So
I don't know.
Charlize is amazing, and the fact that she is now at this level at 20 is also something to say. I don't think she's ever showing up to Florida though.
Yeah, let's talk about that because she keeps saying she is, but homegirl, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't. I mean, she
It's
hasn't sent
like,
a letter of a national letter of intent and all that, so there's that. But
and it's
like,
how long ago did she graduate from high school?
it's been a while.
And isn't there a limit on how long you can take between high school um
I
and
don't
D1?
know.
Like I don't either, but like I think there is a limit. Um, and she keeps deferring.
Yeah,
Reason deferring this year, she's out of deferring years. So
one more time.
if Jake Carey deferred this year for Paris, she would lose a year of NCAA.
Yeah,
So um, I mean, she says she's going to Florida. We should listen to gymnasts, but I don't think she's going to Florida.
I think she's gonna go pro. I think she's
I
gonna wait to
mean,
see
college
how the
isn't for
Paris.
everybody. Sorry,
No, what'd you say?
college isn't for everybody.
College is not for everybody. And listen, I took forever to graduate too. Like I mean, I didn't graduate until I was 28 because I just I went to college right after high school, And then my dad got really sick, and so I came back, and then I left for LA, and then I came back, and finally did college, 2016 to 2020. Graduated during the pandemic because my mom wanted a diploma, so I gave it to her. But like it's not it is not for everybody. It's not. Period.
But like it's something that's worth saying at this point in her career is asking if she's actually going to go to Florida.
Yeah, because you can only hold that spot for so
Um,
long.
so I think Shishwan Shishwan was fourth, which is something to say.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, Thor's daughter, coming in fifth.
sixth,
Oh, sixth,
sixth.
coming in sixth.
So
Oh,
Athora had a really great thing. Um,
Shelly will
let's
be
just like make
Andrade and Gadarova. So someone's Duishin said Shelly's will beat Andrade and Gadarova in the next all around Olympics program.
maybe. I mean, we don't know what is happening with Get a River right now.
No, we don't. Apparently, it was a knee thing. She was in the practice hall doing just practicing her like dismounts or like, I guess landings on vault. And when she went to just like a regular like hop jump off the vault, and she like felt something in her knee kind of click, and so she pulled out.
So
It's the
the
alleged.
thing about Charlize and Rebecca is that Rebecca was four was it four tenths ahead of Charlize, and Rebecca is perfectly capable of falling off of bars and falling off of beam. So maybe, like, let's all not remember the nightmare that was that beam final at 2021 Worlds where everyone fell and like Rebecca was off on dismount.
Everyone fell. Everyone fell. Oh, okay. So fine. We'll do it really quick. So the reason Michaela isn't here is because during qualification, no, during the team after the team final for the men, she said that Brody Malone doesn't add anything to the team, and then she said that the best thing USAG could have done was send him to get hurt. I said we're not going to do that right now, so I muted her. She felt some type of way, and then she blocked me on everything, and that was it.
And I don't think you can. I don't think it's acceptable to say somebody should beat her, no matter how much you dislike them.
No, and it just it wasn't what I mean they were just getting their bronze medals in that moment, and I was like, we're not going to do that. So I muted her. She blocked me, and I mean that's that. That's all that. I mean that's what happened. Nothing else happened because nothing else was said because I have a chance to say anything. It's what happened. I mean, I still love her to death. She's still someone I consider a friend. But at this point, I just feel like I'm a free agent, and so I get to do what I want to now. And this is what we're doing. This is it. Like I have nothing against her. I don't have no ill will towards her. I love her to death. Still consider her one of my close friends. Whenever she decides to talk again, she will talk, and that's all. That's all that happened. I have that's it. I keep thinking that
So
if Melina didn't fall on her beam dismount, she would have been fourth all around. Well, there's
I
that
could
too.
see it. Yeah, I could see that. So let's go to event finals.
Yes.
So Simone, let's talk about Simone and the YDP in the event final.
I mean, what we said was going to happen happened the entire. It happened. It came true. She went for it. She fell on it, and because Homeboy was up there, she got the neutral deduction, and Reby had two
She would have
gorgeous
won
vaults.
that final with the fall if Homeboy
Had
wasn't there.
had he not been there, and they
So
talked about that. He talked about that in the mix zone to Gymcastic, well, to some media, and they were fully aware what was going to happen, and they considered this part of the plan.
okay, I'm not going to comment. Um, do you think her YDP landing is reliable?
Reliable as in she won't get hurt, or reliable as in she can count on it every time?
Well, let's say rely on it 80% of the time. Do you think she can rely on it 80% of the time? She obviously can't rely on it every time since she fell.
I don't know. I
But
if I say yes, I feel like I'm not keeping true to like my own beliefs. That's my own bias, and I don't want to place it on her. I think I'm gonna say it's 75% reliable. I'm gonna say she has, sticking it 75% of the time because she can stick that ball no matter what. But does she want to stick it? Is another question.
Well, so we know that her coaches are uncomfortable and are
Yeah.
going to make it's okay. Like they're afraid for her. They're trying to protect her. Yeah, the YDP is not my favorite thing,
No.
and it's not my favorite vault for her.
Mm-mm.
But also, it's it's a choice to make her safe, and it's less dangerous
Yeah, I mean, I think
for her specifically.
she likes flipping instead of twisting. That's evident now.
Yeah, and so that's my pitch for it is that um, if it makes them all feel safer
Yeah,
to
and it's
not
not
do the
worth it that
M&R again.
penalty deduction. True though, that penalty deduction is not cute. Is Oscar going to be in the show? I don't know. I haven't talked to Oscar. Yeah, 0.5. That's 5/10.
It's a big one. So we'll see if it's still a deduction after Paris, but who knows?
But I mean,
Uh,
if they're going to allow spotters, then they should allow spotters for men's vault too, because that needs spotters.
so I think that I've seen a logical argument for they should allow spotters on double salto vaults,
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree.
and not single salto vaults.
Or twisting vaults,
And
because twisting is hard to spot anyway.
yeah, and I don't actually have a problem with spotting on double salto vaults because they're terrifying.
Yeah,
But part of me would prefer they just didn't do them. But that's a whole other
that's a whole
like
other thing. Yeah,
yeah. Yosho Jong, the first medal for a Korean woman ever
two
at
gorgeous
Worlds.
vaults, gorgeous vaults.
So let's celebrate that, and
Yeah,
the daughter of an Olympic medalist too.
then
Like
I just love that story. I love that
uh,
story.
Alexa Moreno was just 3/10 behind her.
Yeah, Alexa Moreno, and
So
it was just landings. She overcooked it, but I mean, it was the safest thing for her to do because some of them she usually undercooks it, and then it's just
like those two, I think, are going to be fighting for that Olympic bronze medal next year.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, well, that we say that, but then we have Jocelyn Robertson.
We'll see,
We'll see.
because
Yeah.
I do want to talk about Colleen's hand down and why it's
Yes.
different. So Colleen got a fall on her first vault, and then she just did a fall because why risk
Why
it if
bother?
you're not gonna. So when she puts her hand down, she's pitching forward,
Mm-hmm.
and she doesn't start to come back upright until after her hand hits the mat.
Which shows support.
Shows support. So that's the difference between her and Chaperny.
Yeah.
So she gets a fall and he gets a deduction for the hand on the mat.
Yeah, because his is just a graze and hers is a full
Yeah, so she's using her hand to come back up
yeah.
as she's pitching forward.
And we saw that. It was in the replay.
But she's still a great vaulter. She'll still be way up there.
Yeah. She's still a great. She has we talked about this. She has a sprinter's run.
She has the best run in WAG at the moment, I think.
Yeah, yeah. One run that we kind of had field day with we didn't talk about was Radivilovs.
Oh, his is always hilarious.
Radivilovs. Yeah, he.
What is it with his arms?
I don't know. He does little
Yeah, he
Barbie hands. He has Barbie hands.
he does not it's not the funniest vault run ever, but it's up there.
I mean, I guess it's technique. That's the only reason I can
Or
imagine.
it's how he learned to do it, and he's a million years old.
He is a million years old. Yeah, he is. He's ancient, if you will, in Mag. Well, for Mag, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still up there.
Yeah, he is. He's pitching close to 40 now. He's Let's see. Has Josh's injury been developed? What is Josh's injury?
I have not seen anything. I know she was in a boot.
Very Canadian.
a boot, not a, you know what I
Oh,
mean.
oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah, but very Canadian. Um, a boot, not about. Yeah, no, but she, Simone had her around like her emotional support, Jocelyn. So that was great. I
Well,
like this.
she
She gave
she
her an
had to
inside.
have a replacement for her emotional support, Zoe.
She did. She did. She did. Zoe was actually on TikTok Live with Jordan Charles yesterday. Watched them for a little bit. They're excited to go to championships.
And Jordan has a Chang. It's not competition ready, but have you seen that video?
I have not.
Or she has a Chung. She posted training video of a Chung today. It's not competition ready yet,
She's
very
gonna need it.
obviously, but it's very interesting looking
She's gonna need it.
in a good way. So bars. Let's talk about bars.
Which was
Shishi Kwan.
perhaps the most content. Like we all were looking to forward to this showdown specifically for the top two places.
I think the medals went in the right places though.
Yeah, Kalia didn't
Like,
connect her entire routine. She missed a connection and a little bit of
and she
handstands.
didn't lose by much.
No, she didn't.
So
She
like
didn't.
Shishi Swan got a 15.1 with a 8.4 E score, a 6.7 D.
We all said that's what it was going to come down to is that D.
And Neymar had also got a 6.7 E, but I believe she got a 6.9 E in the all around. So that's the connection. She didn't connect everything. If she connected everything, she would have won.
Yeah.
However, first medal for an African woman ever.
And that's huge in and of itself.
First medal for an Arab woman ever. So let's celebrate those things.
Yeah. She
and it's going to be a great fight in Paris too.
Sichuan really, I mean, it was the most uneven bars routine that I've seen in a while. It was gorgeous pirouetting. That laid out Jaeger, my God. When has it been more laid out?
She's a prodigy, I think.
Yeah.
The question is, Chinese wags do not have a shelf life recently, so let's see if she lasts.
China being so good at uneven bars and not getting any team medals is they're all. Paseka did not do her job. She did.
I want to point it out. Charlize Jones needs to up. The difference between her and the gold and silver is the difference between their D scores.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Charlize to stop posting training videos. To stop, enticing us with this double front half out and like this, like, Stalder and Abiva. If you're not gonna do it, girl, like that would have won you the medal.
So Charlize's D was a 6.3. So she was 4/10 off of D of the leaders. And
what was
if
her
you get
scoring qualifications?
Oh, you're gonna go make me look.
I'm sorry.
Let's see. Let me pull up my other page.
Yeah.
Uneven bars. Her quals D was 6.4. So she lost. She lost a 10th, but like has never had a 6.7. But like
never.
If she is 3 more. If she had gotten 3 more tenths, she would have been in silver, and 4 more tenths, she would have been in gold. And the difference between her D score and those two D scores is 4 tenths.
Yeah.
So that's something to say.
Yeah, and you know what? Nothing to not to say she's not a good bar worker. It just if she wants to contend for the top prize, she needs to, as my former co-host would say,
she's a great bars worker. It's just that's the reality of that fight at the moment.
Yeah, it's one of those clear and cut ties. Like it's gonna be the Sichuan or it's gonna be Kaylee Neymar if they're both bar injury.
Simone was in that final, but I just want to say she just does not have the D to medal there.
No, no, and I mean she would have to. How does Simone win a uneven bars gold?
She needs the bars girls not to be there.
What if she added the double double?
Maybe, but
That doesn't add.
that doesn't get her enough D.
It doesn't, no. I just don't
Um,
understand what Simone do a Kovacs.
I would love to see that.
Why
Uh,
not? I feel like she out of anybody could do it.
but I just wanted to point that out. Like
Yeah.
Simone is great; she's in that final, but her problem is D. For
A
once,
Simone Kovacs sounds
Simone's
fun.
problem. For once, Simone's problem is she does not have enough D.
For once. And let's look at her in Antwerp to now. She's come a long way on bars.
She and also in this final, Ellie Black turned herself into a bars girl, which is like
My God, Ellie Black made every single event final, didn't she?
uh she did not make beam.
She didn't make me, but that's par for the course. Um,
Well, she was a
Crazy.
silver medalist last year, so she could have made
Yeah.
beam.
And that's just crazy.
So in the beam final,
Yeah.
no one fell off the beam, but everyone fell onto the beam. The joke I had yesterday was that there was no one fell in the mag vault,
Yeah.
and the beam girls decided to say, "Hold my beer, we'll do all
Hold
the
my
falling,"
Cosmo. Hold my
but
Cosmo.
we're not gonna fall off the beam. We're all gonna fall
Onto the beam. Because
onto
Schaefer
the beam.
Betts fell onto the beam. So did Shishuan?
No,
Shojokin.
Zhang.
Zhang. Yeah.
So Simone wins beam. She and Zhao had the same D score, but Simone beats her on E by 1/10. So that was close.
And it was the beam routine of Simone's life. Like she nary a wobble. She basically stuck the full in. I would count that as a stick. A little bounce, but still.
And
Um,
they both both she and Zhao had um, D that was so much higher than the rest of the field that they were gonna win as long as they didn't fall.
can we talk about the Yurchenko loop?
Yeah. So let's talk about the Yuchenko loop.
Why? Okay, explain to people why several different times she either got credit or she got a fall for it. Because I think that's very
Okay.
important to
So
distinguish
let's
here.
start in qualifications. She gets credit for it.
Yeah.
So she lands with her hips on one side of the beam, and her hands are in full support, and she does not have to make a hand adjustment to bring herself into front support.
Mm-hmm.
She lands in front support. In the team final, she lands with her hips on the other side of the beam, and to bring herself into front support, she has to adjust her hands. So she has not landed in front support, and that's why she gets a fall.
And that's Zhang Xingjing's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
she probably should have gotten a fall in the event final too, but she'd already fallen at that point.
mm-hmm.
And my feeling is that the judges kind of start judging a little leniently once there's already a fall. But she does the same thing where she's adjusting her hand. And like I said, I think that she probably should have gotten a fall there, and they were being merciful.
yeah, let's bring it in. Here it is. Oh, Oh, it's locked. Okay, here we go. Okay, let me make her small so we can just. Wait, hold on. I did that wrong.
But when he shows you the video, you want to watch her hands and the fact that she has to adjust.
Yeah, here it is.
Like,
So
look where her hips are landing too.
that was great. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's right here. She does that, and then she goes for the Yurchenko loop.
Done.
There.
Yeah, so see where her hips land?
Okay, hold on. Let me slow this down. Slow it down, Mary. Slow
So
it down.
if she was going to do this as she's supposed to, her hips need to be on the other side of the beam.
Yes. Let's see. Let's go. Let's play it. So right here. So she is clearly like
Yeah, so she's on the wrong side of the beam.
she is folded over paper style.
And that is not front support.
That's not front support. It doesn't matter how many times that will never be front support. This, when she goes to right here, that's front support.
Yeah, and she has to move her hands around to do that. And she does that in the event final too, and that's why I think the event final should have been a fall as well. But like, this is clearly a fall. This is not how this skill is supposed to go.
Yeah, that's all permissible front support. That's good. That's great. But the fact that she lands like that, pulled it over the beam.
Yeah.
That
So
is,
like, if you, we don't have the side angle of her qualification, but in quals she does land in front support.
Yeah.
So she can clearly do the skill right. It's not an easy skill.
It's. I mean, how many times did Yurchenko herself like not do it well? Several times. Because it's a hard skill. You're doing essentially a backflip onto your hip bones.
Well, and also Yurchenko did a hip circle out of it for a reason.
Yeah, because she wouldn't get the deduction.
Right. So I think there's a reason why Yurchenko does the
actual Yurchenko loop.
I don't think that skill should be in her routine. I agree with Dus.
Dushin, yeah. I agree too. It takes away from how good her routine is as is. If you're gonna try for a connection, try who does the full tuck jump, full stretch jump? That's gorgeous.
I don't know.
What did Valentina say?
Valentina said Simone isn't artistic, and that there was no real artistry in Worlds. You know, the standard Valentina stuff.
Valentina, girlfriend, listen, Joaquin, yeah, her that tuck jump to stretch, twist, full twisting stretch jump. I love that. A full turn stretch jump.
Valentina just Valentinaed. She Valentinaed it all over herself.
She throws it out of her mouth. Yeah, no, Valentina, girlfriend, just focus on getting to LA. How about that? Focus on your life and your career. How about that, Valentina? Okay.
So let's move on to floor.
Floor. Listen.
Files on floor.
I have umbrage. I have umbrage.
What's your umbrage?
Sabrina Voynia.
Artistry deductions. Her mom needs not to be like. They have a Dutch coach who is there to teach them how to be artistried, and her mom won't let her near her.
But like those landings were golden. Like they.
Yeah, and she could have gotten a bronze medal, but I'm sure whenever we get the results book from this, that she's going to have more artistry deductions than the other Romanians, because the other Romanians have a coach that has worked with the WTC. Yeah. I mean, there was a whole lot of drama about the Romanians at Worlds, where lots of the old guard Romanians are like talking down everyone but Sabrina. But like, her mom won't let the people who know how to teach artistry in this code talk to her. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been okay with the joint bronze for her and Flavia.
I mean, Flavia had 5 tenths on her in E-score.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the artistry deductions. I'm telling you.
It is.
Um,
Did you see that Jessica was like right at the angle where she could see what the judges were like writing in artistry deductions?
oh, really? What did she say?
Oh, she was giving out in the last episode. She was giving out all like she was telling everybody like what they got because she could see the screens, and so they were taking pictures of the screens. Which
That's interesting. Um, so I want to point out something about Simone's win.
yeah,
So Simone wins the floor with a 14.633, 6.7D, 8.033E. Okay, let's put that in
yeah.
mind. Rebecca Andrade gets silver, 0.133 behind Simone. Let me read you their E and D. Her D score is 6.1, so 6/10 behind Simone. And her E score is 8.4.
That scared the shit out of me. I don't know what happened. Something happened. It was just it scared the shit. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Her E score is 8.4. So Rebecca almost beat Simone on E score when
And
she had a 6/10 deficit in D.
so then, where are these deductions from Simone going?
I mean, Simone got an 8 plus E score, so she didn't get a bad one.
Oh, go outside. Go outside. Go outside. You're gonna throw up. Go outside. Go outside.
I mean, Simone did not get a bad E score, but the Brazilians have the best E scores in
Go
floor
outside.
from.
Are you gonna throw up or what? Are you good? Don't throw up in here. Are you good? You're good. Oh, grandma? Is that it? Hold on. Let me let this dog out because he's.
Okay,
1 second.
go
Wait,
for it.
talk. Yeah, talk to the people. Talk to the people.
Oh, I'm sorry, folks, that I'm not Michaela. I know you love Michaela. I'm just trying to get him through this.
Just trying to get me through it. He's just trying to get me through it. Wow, I love that. Yes, just trying to get me through it. Yeah, she is. Um,
Um, but I mean that the Brazilians had the best artistry and floor last year, and Simone is not getting bad E scores. It's just the Brazilians are getting great E scores.
oh, thank you, Catherine. You have been a great help. Yeah. So first off, the Simone trip on floor.
Didn't that happen? Did that happen in the floor final, or did that
No, that
happen in the
happened
all around?
in the all around.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I just think that was a freak trip.
yeah, it was. So in the floor final, Flavia had a fantastic floor. She really did.
Yeah,
Flavia's floor was magical. Landings kind of iffy, but
I mean, she did not like make me feel like she was gonna injure herself.
no, like she
Which,
did in team finals or not team finals in the all around, right?
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think the takeaway is that the Brazil, like when you looked at last year's artistry deductions, it wasn't just Rebecca, it wasn't just Flavia, it was the entire Brazilian team
Mm-hmm.
had the lowest number of artistry deductions on floor. They are the floor artistry queens right now.
Yeah.
And it's entirely possible that Rebecca could beat Simone with a huge D deficit.
Yeah. And we saw it.
And Simone could be still have a good E score when she does it.
We saw it. Dishan, I don't think Simone's gonna bring back the balls two on floor. It's not necessary. She lost too much on that to bring it back.
And I don't know that Simone is going to do all these upgrades everyone thinks she's going to do.
I think this is a program. I think at most she might, throw in a Moors at most. At most.
I mean, also she's having fun,
Yeah.
and like more D is not necessarily more fun for her.
No, it's not. I mean,
Um,
I don't think she really needs it.
I do want to talk about Kinsella just for a second. She came in last, but she has a really low D score, and I want to talk about
Yeah.
that.
What happened there?
So for one thing, she had her triple twist devalued to a 1.5, and I'm seeing some people who don't think it should have been devalued because of where her feet landed, but it's judged not from the feet but from the hips.
And she was
So
under rotated.
she was under rotated,
Yeah.
and because she has both a triple and a 2.5 twist in her routine, the second 2.5
Oh, it just
disappears.
didn't count.
Right.
Yeah.
And this happened to her at Euros too.
I don't even know
Kinsella
why they
is
get.
not a consistent enough twister to have those two twisting elements in this routine. She
It's
just isn't.
ambitious. It's ambitious. It's
But
ambitious and for what?
I just wanted to point that out is that this is the second time this has happened to her.
Yeah, that's something you need to go home and kind of reevaluate.
They needed to reevaluate it after Euros.
Yeah.
I mean, why was it still in her routine 6 months later? Because Alice has never been consistent on that triple twist. And there are also people asking about the triple from Visser and Zhao, who both were under rotated, but they go immediately into a punch. And when you punch out of a triple, you can't be downgraded.
But if you punch out of it like out of bounds, then you don't get the connection value for that skill.
Yeah, but you still can't. It still can't be downgraded.
All right. Right.
You can only downgrade it if it's a standalone skill.
And that was the one problem that what's her face had. Visser had that she landed completely out of bounds, and so when she went for the front pike, she was already out of bounds, so it just didn't count, right?
I think she just had a whole lot of problems.
Well, yeah, that too, but
So that's the I did want to talk about Kinsella because that's a composition problem.
yeah.
Um,
So what we've learned from this floor final is compositions, everything in artistry deductions are real.
Yeah. So Simone is beatable in the floor final, which is something that she's never been before.
Someone is beatable in vault final, as we saw. If Homeboy's up
and
there.
Beam is going to be Beam.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be exciting. I think and Simone clearly enjoys not being beatable, but having a challenge.
Yeah.
She talked about how winning with 2 falls in 2018 was demotivating.
Mm-hmm. As it should be for anybody.
And I think that's kind of why I'm not expecting a ton of upgrades.
Because she wants to go clean. I mean, that's number one. That's any gym's ambition is to go clean. Hit 4 for 4, go have a clean competition. You know what I mean? And Simone wants to hit 4 for 4, and she wants to have a clean competition, which she, was not having for a while there.
So let's talk about some teams because there are things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So the United States, I love Sky Blakely, but girl needs to now prove to people that she can hit beam routines.
She needs a sports psychologist, and I've said this several times before. I think she needs Simone's sports psychologist. So, Evgeny, you should invest in that.
I kind of think that they need to send her to the World Cups.
Yeah, she needs. Yeah, I would like that. I mean, it's not going to help her any. She's not going to like magically qualify to the Olympics that way, but she will get experience she needs. Hell, honestly, I would even send her to Pan Am's.
Maybe, but like, it's a bunch of competition experience on beam where she's not falling.
Yeah. And not just like a couple competitions. No, she needs like several competitions where she's like, okay, I'm hitting this routine consistently. Hit. Wobble here is fine, but like not once a year.
Yeah, she needs more competition than she's been getting.
Yeah.
Leanne's banana vault.
What happened there? Because I heard a lot of discourse that a lot of other similar vaults did not get downgraded, but hers did.
I mean, that's we didn't have a great judging angle to know that. I'm not sure you could say that other similar vaults didn't. Her Lopez keeps getting downgraded though, which I think is a sign.
Yeah.
So that's something to say. But Leanne did great things for the U.S. and she proved the point of taking a built-in alternate.
She was like the Alice Kinsella of the U.S. team. I mean, she
I mean,
was.
she did fall on beam. We should say that. But
Yeah, but
it's it's something to
that's
say.
uncharacteristic. That never happens to Leanne. That's not a Leanne doesn't fall. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So that's worth saying.
Yeah.
China, Great Britain. So
Let's talk
we
about
got to
that.
talk about Great Britain because the only, along with Jake Jarman's one medal for MAG, is the only medal Great Britain took home this year.
And they were hoping to come in here and clear house. I mean, those were very Gadarova reliant. And then what happened to
So
Gadarova?
the British fans are saying, the British fans are saying that the pressure got to them that they thought they could medal, that they qualified in second, that they need more more competition pressure.
Pish
I don't
posh.
think
Pish
that's what
posh.
happened.
Pish posh. That's not what happened. Pish posh.
I think they tried to push too many upgrades too fast in the last year.
I think what
What do you
happened
think?
was here's the thing I think happened. It's not an upgrade thing. I think it was very Gadarova reliant. And Gadarova by herself, she needs the other Gadarova. She needs Jen with her. If they're gonna go 1-2, she needs her sister, and it's not and like she needs like an emotional support. No, she needs her like the backup scores because Kinsella. I love Kinsella. Alice is a stalwart competitor, but you're not gonna get those scores from an Alice Kinsella. Alice Kinsella is like she's not my first choice to go. I think Rebecca Downey made a huge. She's a better argument for herself now, at least for medal count. Because Becky could have come in here and at least try to medal. Georgia May Fenton,
Yeah,
she
Georgia
doesn't.
May Fenton did not make a good case for herself
She
over
didn't.
Becky.
She didn't.
But
And
like I said, Becky also has to hit in trials. So
that's an issue too.
I think so. There's an argument that when the White report, the report about abuse in GB, came out, and I read the whole 800-page nightmare because I'm a nerd like that. One of the responses was that the British coaches saw the success of the Olympics as a justification for their methods, when in reality they were lucky that the Gadarovas came around when they came around.
Period.
And
Period.
I think that you're right. This is they're reliant on the Gadarovas.
Yeah, I mean it's echoes and screams of USA Tokyo. Very reliant on one gymnast, and for what? Because when your one gymnast goes down, so what do you have left? Nothing.
So
You have
I
nothing.
think they didn't think they were, because last year in the Commonwealth Games the Gadarovas did not do the England thing. But the thing is, the Commonwealth Games are not a Worlds or a Euros.
What? They're not even a category.
They are a Category 3.
Yeah. So
But it's just, I mean, they're not a nothing competition, but it's just the pool of
what
they're
happened with
competing.
that? With that? What was it? Oh, you were telling us this. That they sent a judge that couldn't judge regardless.
Yes, on the MAG side, a country sent a judge whose son was competing at the Commonwealth Games.
So it's like it's a dumpster fire and a half.
Yeah. So and Fig was really pissed off about it because at the
They had to
Commonwealth
assume the
Games, the
costs.
games were paying for the judge to, yeah. So Dushan, we don't know exactly which federation it was that sent this judge, but it's somebody who was also at the Mediterranean Games, so I think it was Cyprus. Sent a MAG judge whose son was on the team. and the Commonwealth Games Commission would not let him judge at all.
Because it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, so Fig says you can't judge your blood relatives, and they could have put him in a final his son wasn't in, but
It's just
the
reshuffling of
Commonwealth
people
Games,
that's not,
yeah, and the Commonwealth Games people were like, no, we're not doing this,
we're
and
not bending
Fig is
over.
really pissed off because the Commonwealth Games people had to pay for his travel and his hotel, for him not to judge, and so
And
they were
money's
talking
tight,
about. Right, so Fig was talking about finding the Federation for doing it.
as they should have.
So
As they
anyway,
should have.
and they did it. They also did it at the Med Games.
Can we talk about the whole Boxoy, Boxoy, Boxoy?
We can, but I want to say some more about the British, though.
Go ahead.
People should listen to the Sam Oldham, Ellie Downey podcast interview.
Very good.
I think that it's a really good. It's a good listen. There's a lot of talk about the culture of the British system where you fake knowledge to save face, but also one of the things that Ellie talks about is that she never loved gymnastics like Becky did. And she was motivating herself on her successes, but not on love of the sport. And she burned out because she didn't love what she was doing.
And that's a common occurrence. Hell, I'm surprised it hasn't happened to Sabrina Boynia yet, because that's her mom. You can tell that's her mom.
So I wanted to point that out because, like, Becky can keep doing this because Becky loves what she's doing.
It's, I mean, like we used to talk about on We Love Gymnastics. Like, there's girls who love the sport and who are fans of the sport, and there's girls who are just good at it.
So anyway, we'll
Let's
get to
talk. Yeah.
let's wait to the end because what you're asking for is really complicated.
Yes, it is very complicated.
China overperformed from what everybody thought. We all thought they were going to collapse, and they didn't.
From the reports we had, going into this world, it was they're going to fall
they
apart.
overperformed on floor. That from their expectations, our expectations, everyone's expectations, they also overperformed on floor at Asian Games. So let's give it to the Chinese women.
I agree. Someone said that they were surprised Boynia even survived to make and compete on the senior level. I am very surprised that young lady is competing at senior level, regardless.
I would be surprised if she's here 3 years from now.
She'll be in Paris, but I don't think she'll. And if she does stick around, more power to her because I love her. I think she's the breath of fresh air, and I think she could challenge.
Oh, I love her. I'm just saying that she's not on a good path.
Her mom is a nightmare.
Brazil got their first ever team medal.
And that, let me tell you, that performance was incredible. Top to
Before
bottom.
the floor medal, it was Flavia's first medal. Flavia's been around forever.
I like how her inquiry was the only one accepted, as in Donatello was like, yes, our darling Flavia, of course we'll accept your inquiry.
Yes.
She's the only one that got accepted. It's like, yeah, favoritism, it's real, but it's okay, Donatello. We love Flavia too, it's okay. I'm surprised Sabrina didn't inquire, but I suspect that had she inquired, her score would have been lowered.
Yeah, I think they knew that too.
Yeah.
Italy is broken.
Italy is broken. I don't think it's completely broken. I think that they were missing their heavy hitters. They were missing.
Yeah, but Asia D'Amato has had 2 major injuries in a year. Yeah. I don't think Georgia Vila's back is ever going to let her do.
No.
I would not be surprised if she doesn't make it to Paris either.
I wouldn't either. And I love Georgia Vila. That's my girl. But it's just not going to happen.
The Italian fans are saying that Alice does not compete well without Asia.
I mean, she was calling her after every single competition on the phone, and it's her emotional support sister.
And that fall from Asia in the team final is the worst fall I saw at Worlds.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Georgia May Fenton's Whoops-a-Daisy off bars.
Yeah, but Fenton's whoopsie daisy didn't worry me.
No, yeah,
It was like Fenton's was a comic fall. Asia's
yeah,
was, oh my god, I'm glad you're not hurt.
hurt, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, she could have been
Um,
very hurt over that.
yeah, the Fenton just flew off bars into Belgium,
Yeah,
into the Netherlands or something.
she missed her feet and didn't. Twins didn't. Both twins didn't have either one half this worlds and both underperformed. Well, Sana, which we learned, one is Sana and one is Sana.
So yeah, I mean, but the Wevers twins have always not always competed together. So
Yeah,
I
it's a
think they,
luxury for them to be together sometimes.
so they, but I mean, you really like Esposito was carrying that Italian team, and she's not who should have been carrying that team.
No, no, it should have been two D'Amatos and a Maggio.
But I have very little faith of Italy ever bringing a full strength team to the biggest event of any one year.
Well, not
And until they,
when Brixia is like destroying these girls. I mean, Casella, what are you doing?
yes, why was Maggio doing club meets right before surgery in the spring?
Because Maggio had, I mean, and we can go back to Europeans when Euros when Maggio fell on what was it, a full pirouette on low bar, a toe on full, and she could have been a European champion. So ever since then, I've just been like side eyeing because Casella, look what he's done for the Italian program, incredible. We love that. Brixia, yes, girl, yes, queen. You know, gave us
But
Ferrari, gave us
but
admirable
Brixia is
prize.
winning those meets by 10 points.
Yeah, it's like you
They
don't
did
need.
not need Maggio to be competing.
No, no.
So I mean, it's the overkill,
Yeah.
um, which
Thank
is
you, Kaylee.
something to say.
Thank you for the follow. Yeah, no, and it's just
Uh,
one of those things like, at what point do we stop this and call it abuse? Because it's getting to that point.
I mean, it is that point. Netherlands had a really great Worlds.
Yeah.
Ithora had a really great Worlds. 32-year-old
Ithora,
waivers
what
almost medal
happened
run beam.
there? Yeah, what
Yeah,
happened there?
I think it was
Tired?
just a matter of e-score.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flavia was just a little better.
Yeah. Send them to Cita
Oh,
Vecchia to turn Manila. Yeah. So, here's a problem with that. Brixia has a chokehold on Italian gymnastics, and we've known that. Are you okay? You okay? Yeah, okay. And we've known that since the MTV show they had, right?
yeah,
Because Brixia was the club that they featured,
like
so,
2015 or so.
something like that. Which is why a lot of them got really famous. I mean, that's how Georgia Vila became, the influencer that she is. And so I think while I like Civita Vecchia better than I like Brixia, at the same time it's I don't see those girls leaving Brixia. Fiamme
Yeah,
Oro,
and
oh yeah,
it's kind of like um, Stuttgart in the German league.
yeah. It's like that's where you
Um,
go.
the So France had won their first team medal since 1950.
Melanie's beam routine was a thing of magic. I mean, way to save it for the right moment at the right time, and for her to just carry that team. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna
I mean,
cry. I'm gonna cry.
they cried. Someone should give Melanie a gold-plated water bottle though, because she was hugging that water bottle
For dear
every
life,
time we saw her when she
and it's
wasn't doing
just
gymnastics. Japan had a nightmare, and
oh my gosh, yeah.
the argument I've seen when I've tried to figure out what was going on with Japan is that last year was an aberration in a positive sense, and this is their normal.
I I don't disagree with that. Maria de Jesus
Uh,
Santos will never do that again. Listen, she's another one. Hey, she just signed with LVMH, Dior. She has sponsorship money. I don't think she's worried. I
she'll
don't
make
think
a lot of money off of the Olympics too.
I don't think anybody's worried about her like meddling. I don't think anybody really cares at this point. They qualify a team. You know, again, another girl who would benefit from a sports psychologist who can speak Francois. Is that how you say it, Francois? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, someone who can speak her language. Not BetterHelp, not sponsored, but yeah, Dior. I mean, LVMH is the biggest luxury brand. I mean, that's Salma Hayek's husband.
So
Yes,
I just want to finish teams though,
Francois.
because so Australia had a great thing. Georgia Godwin won this a great thing. Georgia Godwin is going to go to the Olympics with a team for once, so I'm really
For
happy for
once.
her. Um,
Heartbreak for the
so
Mexicans, though. Heartbreak for the
Romania,
Mexicans.
I'm going to go through like the Cliff Notes version of the nightmare that's going on in Romania.
Yeah.
So the majority of the team is coached by Patrick Keynes, the old Dutch coach,
Mm-hmm.
who had worked with Donatella on teaching people artistry. So, like, this is the guy who knows the artistry code. And
Mm-hmm.
he has gotten, like, the girls who are training with him know how to swing bars. Like Barbosa or Barbosu knows how to
Mm.
swing bars because he's finally, like, they finally have someone who can teach these Romanian girls to swing bars. But Sabrina is not in Devo with them.
No, she's
Sabrina
not.
is with her mother in Bucharest.
And that's kind of
And
crazy.
Sabrina's mom's friends, including Silavas and including Ponor and including a bunch of the other old guard people, hate the Dutch guy and all the girls who train with him, and they're
Where's
bad
Gina
mouthing
Gojin in
them.
all this?
I have not heard, but
Oh,
so the rumor is that Ponor, who is the athlete rep for Fig at the moment, went up to talk
she
to
is. She is,
the
isn't she?
remain. So the rumor is that during podium training, she went up to talk to the Romanian girls, and she said that she was just giving them advice. And the other side of that is that she was telling them to get away from him. He complained to Donatella, and Donatella had Ponor removed from the floor. That is the rumor.
Escándalo.
And
Ima-
basically, the entire Romanian team, except for Sabrina, does not want to talk to the Romanian press because the Romanian press keeps attacking them.
Can you imagine just like to be a fly on the wall?
So that's the set of rumors going on about Romania. But uh
So
but
wait, so why don't they like the Dutch guy?
because he's the Dutch guy and he's not the Romanian way to do things.
Fair,
Like,
fair.
remember, like Panor and Silvas and all of these people got their like fame doing the Romanian thing the Romanian way, and he's
Because
trying to
of
reform them.
because of Olaru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the Romanian drama is, uh, and that's why Sabrina does not look like her gymnastics match the rest of her team because they don't.
Because she's
So
training.
anyway,
It's like Melanie and the French.
yeah.
Only
So
the French actually like Melanie.
yeah, I mean, well, Melanie is someone they've known for a long time.
Yeah, and
Um,
Sabrina Voynier is just
so this, I do want to say something about the South Koreans because the fact that we get to see Leon So's bars in the Olympics is like really exciting to me because I've said this.
she's coming.
She she has the best Russian bar set right now, including from the Russians.
Yeah, she does, and she's a little firecracker, man. Like give her a little more time. Like crockpot a crockpot meal. Give her a little more time. Put her in the crockpot. Take her
How
by.
old is she? Let me look her up.
She is 23, I believe.
I mean, they're like that South Korean team is really interesting.
Yeah, it's a bunch
And
of like good girls that if they put it all together at one time, they could challenge for a medal.
So I just wanted to say that about them. So
I really standouts. Oh
yeah,
we'll get standouts and then we do controversies
yeah.
because
So
we're at the 2 hour
standouts.
mark almost. Yeah,
What were your standouts?
I'm gonna give it to
She's
Hillary
20, by the
Heron.
way.
20. I'm
She's
gonna give
20.
it to Hillary Heron. Hillary Heron. I think she did amazing.
Yeah.
She did the balls, did amazing job. I think she did her job. Signe Baksoy, for as much controversy surrounding her, girlfriend moved up to 2 places in the rankings. She got the spot.
Nemor. Nemar.
Kaylee and Nemore was always going to be a standout. She really showed up and she did her job. Didn't place as high in the all around as I thought she would, but again, she can only upgrade from here.
I mean, she's got 2 events really. She does not have floor involved.
Yeah, she doesn't. I'm
Shiley
gonna
Jones.
Shelly's Jones, of course. I'm gonna give Alice Kinsella a shout out for
She was
going
like,
cold.
she went absolutely cold.
Yeah,
She said that she did stretches that day and that's it.
and that's it.
Um,
So shout out to her. Who else?
so I would guess we could do the controversy.
Aaliyah
This is,
Finnegan,
yeah, Aaliyah Finnegan is going to the Olympics. So let's celebrate
the
that.
little tiger that could did.
Um, so it's gonna be a little hard to explain I'm gonna cut out a lot of the dense shit in
Okay.
the controversy.
Okay.
So let's just explain it this way. So the Hungarians, because they came in the team final, in the team qualifications in the team in the 13 through 15 slots, they got a non-nominative spot at the Olympics. That's 1 spot.
That's one
They
spot.
also had somebody in the all-around. That's 2 spots. So they could only get 1 gymnast out of the apparatus finals.
Balloons.
The Germans could too.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna go through the events that happened. At least I'm not going to explain why she ended up in that final because that's a whole can of worms.
Yes. So
what happened in terms of if you are the best placed gymnast in a final, you go to Paris.
Mhm.
And because she was the only eligible gymnast in the vault final, she goes to Paris.
that had qualified.
That had qualified.
Now,
So
Jocelyn and Gadarova both pulled out, but
she's still in the final.
Yes.
So what happens? So she becomes the 3rd Hungarian, and another Hungarian can't be in. Once she became that 3rd Hungarian, all the other Hungarians disappeared from the Olympic picture.
Yes.
So what happened on bars is the presumptive person who was going to get the bar slot was Zoya Sakai.
Mm-hmm.
And so you now skip her, and the next person you land on is Marle Zhou of Germany.
But since Germany's already...
So Germany has 2 spots already, and now you have to go to Sarah Voss on floor and see which of those 2 wins a tiebreak. And it turns out to be Sarah Voss. Okay. So you skip Jos, and then you go down to Sandoval.
Arita Sandoval, she have the Fabrice Nova on bars from Mexico.
Right. And she ironically had been the person who would have gotten the vault place.
Yes, but because that happened, it went down the line.
It went down the line. So for this to have messed up in the way it messed up, the things that had to happen is Hungary had to not qualify a team, but qualify somebody in that 3 spaces. And then they had to qualify somebody into the all around, and Zoya was 1/10 behind the person who qualified, so barely. Then you had to have them have 2 people in event final positions, and before that you need the Germans to also have 2 people in the event final positions. So
And that
what you
all
need
happened.
is the Hungarian who loses the tiebreak to then move into the final, and you need the German in the bars final to lose the tiebreak so it then can go down to the Mexican. So that
And it did.
Mexico isn't going to fight this.
And it did.
Because if Mexico had lost an Olympic spot, they would have been pitching a fit about this.
And,
So
yeah.
there was like a string of unlikely things that had to happen in a row to screw Zoria.
And they
And
all
I'm not
happened.
saying it doesn't suck for her. It does suck for her, but I'm gonna give you
Given
the pitch
given the
of why
situation
it
with the
doesn't.
injuries, it doesn't.
Well, yeah. So let me give you the
Yeah,
pitch
go
of
ahead.
why the Hungarians are not going to fight this.
Mhm.
So Baxay is a more likely event finalist at the Olympics than Zoya. Um,
And
she
isn't she in
just
she's in Nebraska, isn't she?
Yeah, she's at Nebraska, but
Crazy.
she's made vault finals before. She's a good 2 vault person. I don't think she's winning any vault medals, but she's close enough in vault fields to make a final, whereas Zoya is not close enough in bars finals to make a bars final. Like her best bars score this year would have still put her in the reserves in this final.
Yeah.
Um, but so the Hungarians do have a 3rd spot that they get to assign to their will, and I think everyone knows that if Kovacs has either her bars or her beam, or hopefully both back by Paris, they'll want to send her, but that's very unlikely.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Um, and the next obvious person in the Hungarian team to send, if you can't send Kovacs, is Zoya.
So yeah. So it's
But
either way, it's not a big deal for her to
but
like to
like,
lose a spot.
and for the Hungarians strategically, this arrangement of gymnasts is probably what they would have preferred anyway.
Yeah.
And her, but it does not suck for the Fed.
And so they're not
So
gonna fight it. And so like
yeah,
this whole like I mean, it is a big deal and it's a shitty situation. But what do you stop biting it? Stop biting that. But for they're not gonna fight it. And for people to make this whole like big deal about it, yes, it's a big deal. But at the same time, it's like I mean, look where the cards fell.
and it
They're taking it out of context. I feel.
it's also probably not in her interest to fight it, because that's
Yeah,
a small Fed. She's on a close team. It's not like, her career is probably better if she's seen as a team player,
yeah, and she
especially
will.
when especially when we already know that there's a very good chance she'll still go to the Olympics.
Yeah, and she will. And that's why I wasn't. I mean, when it first happened, I was like, oh, that's kind of shitty, but because it was an administrative mistake by the FIG itself. You
Not
know,
clear.
that's not clear because I mean they're not going to take responsibility for anything.
No, well,
Yes.
it's really not clear, but it's way too complicated to explain.
Yeah, because I mean, can we try to explain it kind of just before we go?
Um, so basically the rules for um, for 2 per country people in the reserves are not written down. So
What?
the rules they're written down if you're 2 per country in the top 8, but not if the 2 per country person is in the reserves. And there is a reading of the rules that says that when USAG withdrew Jocelyn, they needed to also put in paperwork to promote Leanne.
And they
So
did not do that.
we don't know that that's the case, but that is a reading of the rules. So it's possible that FIG didn't mess this up, USAG did.
And that's kind
Uh,
of the feeling you got from the FIG release.
right. So
Yeah,
that's why, like, I don't want to say FIG messed this up because we don't know.
we don't know.
She cannot do she can do World Cups to do World Cups, but she can't get an Olympic spot that way because Hungary has their 3.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean
she
that.
she needs she needs the Hungarian Federation to give her that 3rd nominative spot.
Yeah.
Non-nominative spot anyway. So I should let you go, but
And that was
here's your
World.
recap.
When
That
is
was
Sun?
Worlds.
When is Pan Am's again?
Oh, let me look it up. My
Because I
brain
have
is
to.
not.
I know we've had a lot of we were gymnastics out by Worlds. Who are the three? It was
I can't say her name.
Baksoy,
Uh,
Stigny Baksoy.
Boxoy, CZ something in the all around.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so USA Gymnastics gives us the schedules. Come on. No, that's when do they start? Event site. I'm looking it up, so
Okay.
you go ahead and talk
Yeah.
while.
So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We just wanted to give you guys a little quick, Worlds recap because we didn't get to. The original plan was to do one after every final. Doesn't happen.
We were
So
sleepy.
well, not only that, but one half of the former platform kind of
Yeah.
decided to leave. Which again, support Michaela on her endeavors. Follow her on iHeart Gymnastics or whatever she's going to call it. If you find yourself on my YouTube, subscribe. We're gonna be. I'm gonna be. Well, we're gonna be bringing you more content. It'll be more long form. Here's the idea I had. So for Adex at night, not the live version. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna format a whole episode, and then when the episode is kind of like when the script is already, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go live. And I'm gonna record it as is, so you guys can see the whole process, like how I do the green screen stuff, how I do all the graphics and all that. So you guys have the in-depth look of my creative process, I guess. So my computer will be live. I'll be filming to camera, and you guys get to see like how I go about creating content, I guess. And that'll be
One of
fun
the
because
things I was going to suggest to you is that maybe in weeks when there isn't gymnastics, when there's no NCAA or no elite thing for us to watch, you and I could like watch some
blind
old stuff
react.
and like
I'm down.
live react.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm down. We can totally do that. And there's no rules anymore. Not that there was rules before, but like there's really like no, you know,
So Pan Am Games itself starts in 10 days. I don't know when gymnastics starts.
10 days. It's probably one of the first events, as it is with everything else.
Uh, yeah,
Because I think
I'm like I said, I will look it up. Although no, I don't have to look. I know where to look it up. Sorry.
okay, yeah. So in 10 days, I mean, we'll probably do like a watch along or something this weekend. Maybe we'll rewatch all the worlds, something. Um, I everything's up in the air. Everything's new. Nothing's the same. Everything's new. So we can do whatever we want. And
October 21st to 25th.
okay, 21st. So that's in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks, yeah. So
Or,
in that time we'll do a watch along. We'll do something. We'll do something fun next week. No, it's the 9th. The games
yeah.
start
So
next week.
the games start next week. But anyway,
The 21st is next Saturday. No, it's not. Is it really? Hold on.
the Saturday after next.
Oh, it is. How the
So
hell? How are we? Oh, okay. Wow, that's insane. That yeah, it is. It is. It's next. How is what time is a human construct?
anyway,
We will have a Halloween stream, by the way. If you guys are wondering what you're gonna do for Halloween, I'm gonna be outside. I'm gonna be wearing I'm gonna have a setup outside. So when the kids come, you guys, you can say hi to the camera and all that. Oh, that sounds weird. Maybe not. Maybe not that. But we'll do something outside. I'm gonna be wearing my pinata costume.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
I will see you, Adex. It was
Yes.
good talking to you.
Good talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you so much for watching us. Give us a follow, a like, a subscribe, and all that. And we will be back on the next one, whenever that is. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, Catherine. Thank you for joining me. Bye.